fish knife. Hey campers, George here, back in the man cave with Mary. We're looking at Hammer brand. You know, these guys that made the knives with the colorful covers, right? Got two of them. They need some loving, so let's check them out. So what I'm talking about here is these two guys here. Yeah, look at them. Okay. You can always spot a hammer. I love these knives. There are a lot of them out there. Because of that, and I feel that people don't realize the history of Hammer brand and what it's done and where it was and where it is now. It's pretty interesting. Right now I have these two guys, and you can see, look at the handles. This is what draws them to Hammer brand. Anybody looking for an old knife, you see a handle that looks like this, you know it's Hammer brand. And of course it's the clamshell. Interestingly enough, they were the guys who came out with it. They went from, I want to say, handmade to full production knives. And to do that, they came out with the clamshell as we know it. Now, Hammer brand has been around, well, for a long time. Originally they were a division of New York Knife Company. And they were around from about 1856 to 1930 something, 34 I think, early 30s. Here's something that nobody knows. Some of you, I'm pretty sure some of you know. I didn't. But their biggest thing is they produced the first official Boy Scout knife. Right? Hammer brand. Who would have thought? Anywho, yeah, it's a thing. Now, back in the day, originally, New York Knife Company made a division called Hammer brand. And they were around from 56 to 1930 something, and they owned Hammer brand. It was a division. In fact, they were a huge company for the day. They had like 400 employees. They were really successful. And then the big happening, Great Depression thing, which killed off a lot of knife makers, them included. In fact, what happened after there was Imperial bought the rights and the tooling and everything like that for Hammer brand. They actually brought it back to their factories, and they shared the tooling with Imperial. That's why when you look at a lot of Imperial stuff, they kind of look familiar, and that's the reason why. Now, when Imperial bought them, they brought them, in 1931 they closed. That was during the Great Depression. And Imperial bought the rights and everything for that. And then in 1936, they restarted production of Hammer brand. Now, and like I said, they shared the tooling and everything like that. And it's interesting how what I call a clamshell, they just call it a shell casing. And doing that allowed Imperial to mass produce knives. So it went from these fancy, what you used to, what a normal knife looks like, a non-clamshell, kind of, well, that's not it. Yeah, it is. Something like this, that had a solid handle and everything, to a almost one piece with a wrap on it. That allowed them to mass produce inexpensively a bunch of knives. And they did that for quite a while. Eventually, they went through the Second World War and all that good stuff. And then eventually in 1956, Imperial said, that's it, we're shutting it down. And so they stopped production. Now, Hammer brand's still around. The knives are made in China. I'm not sure who owns them. I don't know if Imperial still owns them. But, you know, they started producing them again in 2004 out of China. So there's a real quick look at their history. I don't think people realize just how old the Hammer brand is, where it came from, and what they accomplished. They did a lot. Now, I've got, like I said, I got these two guys. I got a fish knife, and I got this guy. Which, here we go. I'm going to have to look this up, because this is what it has. This was originally a spear point. It's pretty worn down and it needs to be cleaned up and that. Here you have a spay, and then you have an awl, okay? Stockman, cattleman, that's what I would think of it as. Is that what it is? Because I always thought that a stockman, maybe that's the difference. The premium stockman had a pen blade, not an awl. So I would think that this is a true stockman, because you use this for cleaning hooves and things like that. Then they had the spay blade, nobody wants to know what that's for, and then the big old spear. Now I'm looking at this spear, and it's a little beat up. I really wanted to replace it, but it's one of those special blades. Look at it, it's got the swedge in the front here and the long pull, and so does the spay blade. So I think I'm going to keep it that way. I just want to clean it up. You can see it's really rusty in there. Hopefully we can get the scales off and clean them up. They just need a good cleaning. You know, got an old sticker marks here and things like that. Maybe make it shine a little bit better. There's a little piece missing off there. It's not very noticeable, but a very cool handle pattern, right? Pretty, like a lot of their knives. They're so unusual. And then you look at this guy, which is the fish. You know, the fisherman. It's a single blade. You can see it there. It has that long toothpick. And then it has on it here the scale remover. It doesn't have the disgorger and things like that. It's just a single blade. But look at this handle, right? Is that not cool? Different things. Now, interesting, looking here, I can barely see the tank stamp, and it makes it really difficult to date it. However, I can see for certain that there's no USA down the end here. It looks like it's the big muscled arm. I'll just show it you. It's really hard to see. See that? But there's a pattern number on the back here. And I'm going to look it up quickly. Let's do that. I got this book. And in here, I didn't know it at the time, but the other day, I discovered it has pattern numbers and dates in it. And you can see the lists here. So I'm going to see if I can find it. And the pattern number on this guy is hard to see. It's a long one. It's a 203794. 203793. Yeah, I'm not finding it, which is kind of disappointing. Yeah, same. So they're from the same era. Look at that. Let's clean them up. The insides need cleaning on both of them. And of course, the blades and everything need to be shined and sharpened. There's a lot of rust on these ones. Hopefully we can get most of that off. Make them all nice. Going to take the covers off, the clamshells. Then we can dip it and rub and scrub to our heart's content. Right? Let's have at it. So here we have the two guys here. First thing we got to do is we got to get the shells off. Always nerve-wracking because you might break the clip. Things you need, there is the clip there. You can see how they're bent over there. Now, they have them on the other side as well. The trick here is they give you access up here. And if you look on this one, you can see there, but there's no access here to them, very little. So you've got to take them off this side, you've got to bend those up and then slide them down, and these will pop off, allegedly. So we've got to loosen this side, bend them up so we can pop them off and then slide them back. Can do that right now. So I've got a little screwdriver here I want to try. I think it's better than the one I've been using, which is this old beater. But this we'll keep just in case. We're going to give this one a try. So what I want to do is just hook that little tab. And then bend it up very, very slowly. You don't want to do it quickly. Can you see that? I don't want to bend it too much. I just want to bend it enough so I can get it off, because you don't want to put too much stress on that bend. And if somebody's done it before, it's been stressed already, so go slow. It's like that. So you can see it's come off. Now it's loose. I can go to this tie and I'm going to slide it towards you. Just work it up and hopefully it'll come off just like that. And there you can see the tabs and the tab on this one. Let me try and get some more light on the subject here. There you are. And there you are. And we're going to do that on both of them. Get the tabs off. Can't get it that side, so I've got to do them from this side. You can see you've got this gap here you can get in, and hopefully we'll be successful. Ooh. Hey. Not so much on this one. This one's never been taken apart. They're sitting in there tight. Ooh. And there you can see. Oh, that was tight. A little nervous with that one. There we go. So we have them off. Now we're going to be cleaning and working on these. Be careful that you don't put any pressure on them when you have it this way. Press them in and out, that sort of thing, because they break real easy. So we're going to put these away and we're going to dip these guys, and let's see if we get a better look. No. I can see, almost see the full pattern number now. Two separate pattern numbers, and I tried to search them online but wasn't having a lot of success. Definitely the thick guy. Pattern numbers here, and they look the same. Yeah, they're the same ones. I'll keep searching and let you know what I find out. We're going to dip them. So I'm going to use Evaporust. Now you can reuse this, and eventually it just gets so ugly that you need to do something about it, or it's going to start taking too long to do any rust removal. Now I was in Harbor Freight the other day and totally forgot to get a new bottle of this. I'm just going to sift this through this cloth. And hopefully that'll help. I'm going to throw these guys in, and you can see this guy is in pretty bad shape. You can see the rust on it inside. Very nasty. I'm just going to drop him in here. Same with this guy, although not nearly as bad shape as the other guy. Going to let him soak for about 30 minutes. Now I've got a wire brush here, and I'm going to use that after 30 minutes just to give it a good rub, get all the heavy stuff off, and let it sit again. In fact, I'll just rub this to get most of the heavy, loose stuff off so we can access underneath. I need new. I'll have to get some. Oh, boss is here. Checking up to make sure I am being safe. And she likes the smell of this stuff, which is a problem because she tends to try and taste it. Nope. I'm wearing gloves. We'll let that sit for 30 minutes. Then we'll rub it again, and then I'll take it upstairs, wash them off, come back, and we'll start cleaning them up. Okay, it's been about 30 minutes. Let's give them a rub. You can see how it's patinaing, but we'll get rid of that when we clean them up. Just want to get the heavy stuff off of the blades. We'll let them sit a little bit longer, and then I'll take them upstairs, wash them, bring them back. So here we have them here, and you see I washed them off. Most of the icky stuff has come off. Look a little better. This one was in pretty good condition. And here you can see this guy. Pretty beat up he was. Got rid of most of the heavy stuff. So now we start cleaning up. I'll start with this guy and I'll take you through the process. Then I'll do the other guy and show you the end result, or else the video's just too long. So what I typically do, will start with 400 to 600 grit sandpaper, the foam back stuff. This stuff, and I'll go over everything to get rid of the, well, not get rid of, but reduce any bad scratching or anything like that. Then I'll go to 800 to 1000, then 2000, 7000, and then mothers, and we'll do the whole process on this one, and I'll show you the end result on that one. Then we'll clean these guys up. Got to be very careful with these that you don't mess up the handles, but we'll get there. So let's start with this guy. Going to start with a general cleanup, and I've got 600 here, and we're going to start on the blades. We'll work the blades all into the little areas here where it's a little bit difficult to get into. Got to do the well, and then the handles, we just need to touch them up here. You don't want any rust under the handles if possible. And then clean up the edges, because that's what everybody sees. So here we go. Remember, always support your blade, flat surface. You don't want to be putting pressure on it, so you want to hold it flat on there. And off we go. Very lightly with the 600, otherwise you're just introducing more scratches. So lightly with them. And if you move this around, you'll get deeper in on those areas. So you want to get in on this little piece here. And then do the whole blade, going back and forth, up and down, not very hard. Be careful of your tip here. If you lift your blade up and just keep it right there on there, it's not going to catch. And you can see it doesn't take much. And you're starting to get a shine, getting rid of all the dull spots. If you look closely at this blade, see there? It's got some deep scratches here where they sharpened it. That's pretty typical. You're not going to reduce them, so just keep at it. And that's it for the blade for 600. Just going to clean up these edges now. Just a quick rub. Careful of the blade, it's sharp. And then everybody's going to see this. You don't have to do much with the 600, you're just cleaning up the rough stuff. Now I just have a piece of 400 wet dry, regular sandpaper. Fold it over a couple of times because we want to put it in there and rub like crazy on both sides and along the bottom. Don't forget these end pieces as well. So I don't know if you can see in there, it's not too bad. The other one's going to be worse, but you put it in there and work those areas at the bottom on the sides here. All the way along. That's why I taped up the blade. My hand's going to be going back and forth here. You can do both sides at once. Get it in there. And then get right to the bottom and rub it on the bottom. Because when you look in that well, you will see the bottom. A better way to get down there. Get something like this. Push it in there and scrape it along that bottom. And you will notice it starts to shine. A little bit more and then we'll do the rest again. With 1000. So here I'm going to go with the 800 to 1000. On here you can see we've already got a shine there. And now you can see how the shine is picking up. Do the blades now.
And you can see how the shine is evening out a little bit better, so it looks brighter. And as you go up in grit, so the shine gets smoother, and then Mother's really cleans it up. And don't forget these little hidden pieces here. And don't forget the blade. You can see it doesn't take much. I want to clean this out though. And I'm going to use that same piece of sandpaper here and just run it up and down on that groove and see how much goop we can get out of there. Just be careful, you don't want to round off the edges because that's your nail neck. You just want to get it cleaner. And there we are. Now we go to 2000. Okay, so now we're going to go to 7000 and let's see how it shines up. And then it'll be ready for Mother's and a sharpen. And oh, by the way, I had another look now that I've cleaned everything up, and the pattern numbers are different. Also the tang stamps, and I'll explain that when we're done. And here you can see 7000. This one wasn't too bad to clean, was in pretty good condition. Very cool. So I'm going to do this guy very quickly, and I'll show you the end result. And here we have this guy, who cleaned up better than I thought it would. He was in pretty bad neck. The one thing is that brass liners. Now brass liners will shine up and really bring out the shine. It's softer than the other steel stuff, so there you are. That's them, both ready for Mother's now. Now we got to do these guys. So with these guys we got to shine these end bolster things off. This one's pretty clean inside, I'm not worried about that. So the thing you have to be worried about here is catching on these things. So you've got to be really careful along these edges. Now I'm going to start off at 1000 on these. I don't think I need more than that. And then go to 7000 and we'll see how they look. Now as far as this stuff, I'm not going to touch it with sandpaper, but I'm going to be going over everything with Mother's. And once again, with Mother's, when you're doing it, you've got to be careful of these edges. You catch it, you're going to break it. See how we go. Now remember I said the clips, you see it there? You don't want to put it down on there and start polishing. You want to hang it over the edge like that and clean it so you don't push it in and break it off. So here we go. And there you can see Now I notice there's a lot of dirt in these divots here, so I'm going to just get a tool and see if I can clean it out. Careful you don't catch it. It's just buildup. This side as well. Don't forget that little clip. You want it over the edge. Gets a little finicky, but hey, better safe than sorry. So there you are. This is 1,000. Do the other ones. I think that's from somebody taking it off with a pair of needle nose. I'm not sure. Let's clean those little spots out there. Now, surprisingly, as bad as the condition this knife was in, look how good condition the handles are. Not going to take much. This is the handle that had the sticker on it. And I managed to get the sticker off, but it's left a bunch of glue. I'm going to use some alcohol and let's see if that'll get rid of that glue. I'm running out of everything. Hopefully the mothers will take care of the rest. So now I'm just going to give these a rub with 7,000. You can see they're starting to get really shiny. And then Mother's evens it out. So do all of them, put them together, and then put Mother's. So the way you do it, once again, is you're going to go opposite. So you're going to slide this one in and bend that one over. Not as easy as it sounds. So you got to get it in there, in that slot. Like that. And the trick here is to push down on it. And you see how I'm holding this slightly off center. And if I'm lucky, I'll be able to push it in and line it up. And we look good on this side. We're looking pretty good on that side. And now we've got to bend this so that it's tight. The way I use my ice pick, and I'm going to start at the top here and push down on it like that. And now I can tighten it up just by using my ice pick, and you can see it's nice and tight inside there. One thing you don't want happening is when you open the blade like this, that it's going to catch that. And it doesn't, so looking good there. This is a really nice knife. Hopefully we can get the other side on without breaking anything. Now you see what happened here. I've caught the edge. Not good. So on this one, if you remember, it's tight there, open, open, open. which means this is the side that you slide in and the other side you clip it on. So you got to have the right clip on the right side. This is the one that we're going to squeeze it on, and this one slides in. See how tight it is? Like that. And then you just repeat what you did on the other one on this side. I'm not going to bore you with that. I'll get it done and show you the end. So here we are with this one. And I got to say this one turned out well. The only thing is you get a little gap on the handle there. I'm not sure if that was there before. Can you hear it? I can't get it any tighter. So without breaking that clip. It's a very nice looking knife. Let's polish them up. So I'm just going to use some Mother's Mag and aluminum polish. Works great. You don't have to rub hard or anything. And especially on this plastic stuff, you don't want it to melt, because this will heat it up just when it's polishing. So go slowly on the handle. Here you can see the blade on this guy. Pretty good. Let's give it a rub. And you can see it takes off a very fine coat, and it really evens out the shine on the blade. And you can see that did not take much, and look at the difference. That shine is much more even. It's a thing of beauty. I'm going to go ahead and do all the blades and everything, and then I'll show you how we do the handle. So here you can see how it gives a lot more consistent shine to the blades. Very cool. Now we got to do the handles. We're going to need to oil everything and loosen everything up. When you're doing the handle, because you've got this edge here, you don't want to be rubbing too hard that way, because if you catch that edge, you will break it. So very lightly there while you're doing this end piece, and then you want to just polish it this way, and you have less chance of catching the edges. He says with confidence. You don't need a lot of mothers. And I'm just going to rub along the edges here very lightly. Now you can see we got a nice even shine. Got to do this side now. Compare that to that. We'll do the same thing on that guy. And then we've got to do this guy here. Same thing again, you don't want to catch these edges, so be careful. And then just get rid of the residue. And now we have a nice shiny knife, which is very dull. So we're going to have to sharpen it and oil it. No snap. Let's try the oil. I'm using vegetable oil because I want it to be food safe. Although this is a collection item for me, it's not going to be using it, but you never know. Somebody else just might. Work it a little bit. And all that scraping and sanding we did, all that fine dust is going to come out right there. You see that black? It's the oil pushing it out. And we're getting snapback. This spring is weak. Something's worn. Either the spring, which I suspect is what it is, or the blade. But there's not a lot of snap in this main blade, unfortunately. A lot in this one. So we'll let them sit and soak. I'm going to do the same thing to this. I'll show you the end result. And here we are here. This is a nice fish knife. I really like this knife. I've got a couple of them. Well, one at 12. Oh, there we go. Good snap. Woot. Let's sharpen them. Do that quickly. I'll just show you the highlights and the lowlights, which they are always both with my sharpening. Oota. Woot. So there you go, campers. Here we have this guy. I want to say cattleman, stockman, whatever you'd like to call it. Look how this thing cleaned up. Isn't that amazing? I didn't think it would get that clean. It was pretty bad. Very nice. Sharpened up nicely. Oiled up. Got snap. The handle, the main blade has nothing. And you can see, if you look there, how low that thing is. Something's worn. So there's that. But overall, look at the handle. I love the handle on this thing. It's pretty. Right? Cleaned up very nice. And this one is not the same age as this. This one is 1936 to 1937. Okay. According to the tank stamp. And then the fisherman, this guy, 1938 to 1941. So followed just after that one. And this one is a pretty knife too. Cleaned up very nice. Really good condition. See that? Very cool. Sharp, sharp. And you got your scaler and everything. Very nice. I really like this fisherman. And of course the handle. And to be honest, when I got these, I got them because of the handle. That's how I look, you know, when I see a handle like this. I know it's a Hammer brand. But to find one in good condition is hard. This one, why are you buying me? This one is not perfect. If you look carefully, you see right there, there's a little piece broken off, hardly noticeable on this type of handle. Very cool. Very happy with these two. Nice additions to my Hammer brands. Very cool. So there you go. A little bit of history, a little bit of restore, a little bit of abuse. She's biting me. Look at this. And you think she's nice. Not so much. She wants to play, is what it is. I've been ignoring her all day, so now she wants to play.
So there you go. That's what bosses are for, right? They have attitudes, they abuse you. She's still mad because I spent her treat money. Ha! You all be safe out there, especially when you got a boss like this. She bite me and draw blood, there's a problem. But she's pretty good. And don't forget, like, share, subscribe. You know the story. Pretty sure I'll be back. Got a lot going on. I'm about to start my razor video. Like I said, Brandon sent me that project with the shaving brush. I've looked into it. I'm ready to start, so I'll probably start it this weekend. And hopefully it'll all work out. Cool project, something different, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. And don't forget, if you'd like to support the channel, you can hit the join button below, join the membership, and get some extra perks. More coming. Just saying. You don't have to. Choose to stay this way, you're still supporting my channel. And it's always appreciated. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.